What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Rams Brothers. I'm your host, Dean, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother and the other great host of this show, Nick. And the Rams are now 10-3. They absolutely dominated the Arizona Cardinals at State Farm Stadium yesterday. They got 4 games left on their schedule, and the next couple are really crucial. But before we jump into everything that happened yesterday, first and most importantly, how are you, my good brother?
Great. I'm in my Rams Snuggie. No, I'm just kidding. It's just a big sweater. Great. I mean, after a win like that, hard not to be feeling really good about this team and the direction of the NFC in general. We're the number 1 seed again.
We are the number 1 seed. The Rams are on top of the conference. We talked about it last week, how they're, even coming out of the Panthers loss, they're still favorites to win the conference, to win the division, to win the Super Bowl, for Stafford to be the MVP. They're right back in the number 1 seed. So the Bears actually owned it for 3-4 nights. And now they are the 7th seed after their loss to the Packers yesterday. Packers are the 2nd seed. Eagles are the 3rd seed in front in the NFC East. And it looks like they're probably going to win the division with the Cowboys losing over the weekend. And the Bucs are 7-6 in the 4th seed. And the Panthers are on a bye week. So Seahawks sit comfortably in the 5th seed. And what's really interesting about Seattle is they're going to get Daniel Jones on IR, and they're going to get, who's the backup, Nick, that we saw yesterday for the Colts?
It's some undrafted kid, Anthony Richardson's on IR. So, they're getting a lollipop game against a fierce Colts team.
But you look at the rest of their schedule, then they got Rams on Thursday night, then they have to go to Carolina, and then they have to go to San Francisco. So you look at the difference between what the Rams have to face. So we know the Lions, we talked about as soon as we got on today, the next 2 games, Lions and Rams. Lions coming to Los Angeles. They're going to be in SoFi Stadium, 4:25 this Sunday. And then Thursday night, we got the Seahawks. And then it goes Falcons on Monday night. So you got a really, really long mini bye type week where you got 13 nights or 12 nights till your next game. And then you got the Cardinals. So we've been trying to stay on top of this, right? Making sure that we're getting the right direction to potentially the 1 seed and obviously the division. But Nick, yesterday, it just felt like everything finally fell into place. Like Kobe Turner tweeted after the loss to Carolina that he feels really bad for whoever's going to be in their way next. It so happened to be the Arizona Cardinals, and the history that we have against them. McVay's now 15-3 versus the Cardinals all time. It feels like between the personnel usage, the running the ball effectively when you have the lead, everything's in place right now, and you have to feel pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals got to get rid of Gannon. I just like a terrible record against Sean McVay, not a good record in the division, clearly the worst team in the division, in the best division in football. I mean, look at that. 10 wins, 9 wins, and 3 wins. Like, it's just an embarrassment to the NFC West. And I saw people saying that the Cardinals stadium is SoFi East. I was hearing some MVP chants during.
Well, you know what? It's after what Arizona did to us, right? In terms of opening up their stadium for the playoffs with the wildfires. That was really
an amazing thing that they did for us.
I don't necessarily think they deserve for us to call their stadium SoFi East right now. They opened up their doors in the playoffs and got a victory against the Vikings. But regardless, it's an easy commute for a lot of Rams fans to be able to get to Arizona from LA. We saw our boy Puka Nacua from St. Louis to Arizona. He was chilling in the hot tub yesterday. Shout out Puka. It was just a really fun day for Rams fans, the whole nation, right? 45 points. It felt like as soon as that game opened up, the offense could score 45 points. A little nervous early on in terms of Trey McBride and Michael Wilson, but Chris Schul obviously adjusted and we were fine.
They had one good scripted drive, and then we stalled in the red zone. After running our way down the field, we do 3 pass plays in a row, and we kick a field goal. So it had the makings for one of those Sean McVay games, and then they were like, all right, if you have any doubt in this team at all, then you are a fool because they
and also McVay's coming off of sickness too, right? So that he flew separately with the team. Who knows? He ended up calling one of the best games of his life, right? So whatever happened, he was clearly okay for that game yesterday. And this is the reaction from a majority of Rams fans. We had our feet up, we were yawning. Shout out Kyler Murray. Nick's probably pissed at the fact that I brought this up 7 times.
No, I mean, you have a personal vendetta. Kyler Murray didn't even play in the game, and you're pulling up a tweet that where he said he was yawning. He's off to greener pastures now. He might have a whole second Sam Darnold career now at this point.
Hey, you know what? It might be with the Los Angeles Rams as a backup to Matthew Stafford. You never know.
Are you gonna show that? when we win against teams if Kyler Murray is our starting quarterback?
Maybe if we dominate. No, I don't even want to think. Right now, I'm so happy that Matthew Stafford is the quarterback of this team. He's obviously the MVP favorite. Everything he does, manipulation, pre-snap, it looks really easy for him. Even when he's like out, on the boot and he's throwing on the run and he's got, 3-4 options underneath. They're in 13 personnel. I thought the usage was so impressive there. You got 3 tight end options and a big receiver. With Stafford on the boot in space. And those guys really know how to find the vacancies in zones. Puka's so good at that. Even Adams on an off day, it still felt like he got a lot of production out of the passing game in general.
One thing that you love to see from your quarterback is even when they're up by a lot, and there's like a drop ball or, Kyron's not picking up the blitz, he gets upset about it. And he looks at his teammates and he's like, Puka, you're supposed to sit on that route, or like Kyron, you're supposed to block that guy. Just knowing that like they're bringing 110% to the game at all times, and Stafford really is the conductor. Sorry, Kobe Turner, the offensive conductor in the sense that he knows everything, and it does look really easy to him. And when you have that guy under center, it feels like really the sky's the limit on the season right now.
There's very much a dedication to excellence. You could see it in every way, every single play, the way that they operate their offense. Like, yeah, you're right. Guys get mad at each other. And it's because there's a really, really high expectation for how they're supposed to function from week to week. And against an opponent like this, who's middle of the pack, who has a Buda Baker or a Calais Campbell, maybe some other talented players in their secondary, it's not enough to be able to prevent the most expensive offense and the most productive offense in the NFL. And some of the great things that they did yesterday, this is from Josh, our stat man, a balanced performance for the Rams offense, 23 snaps out of 11 personnel, 33 snaps out of 13 personnel, 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns, 281 passing yards from Stafford, and 212 yards combined on the ground from the run game. Nick, we talked about over the last couple of weeks, Dad was on. He said that one of the keys to victory week to week is being able to get a lead and then sustain it via the run game. And this is the one of the more impressive two-headed attacks that I've seen from a Rams team since C.J. Anderson and Todd Gurley.
Wow. I love that. It was nice to see the long Corum run. It was nice to see them use both of them. We knew that Kyron was a little banged up heading into this game, but that didn't stop him from getting in the end zone. There was a moment when Kyron broke off where it looked like somebody hit his arm, and he kind of the ball brought it back in, but there was a second there where it looked like that ball was going to fly out of his arm. And I know all the Rams fans that watched that saw that. Yeah. And, kind of got flashbacks of the past. But he held on to that ball. But that being said, it does still look like when he runs the ball that he's he's got too much juice with it, that he dukes too much and he doesn't have true protection of the ball.
2 hands on the ball. Whenever there's and you know what? It brings you back to that game against the Niners, right? Where the red zone fumbles. And you just don't want that. But that's one of the reasons why he brought in Blake Corum. He's now who we thought he was going to be, 27 touchdowns in his final year in college. He's got a nose for the end zone. Nick, last couple of weeks, we've been talking about how Corum looks like he's got a little bit more juice. He's a little bit more elusive. He's got the agility, and he's got a little bit more explosiveness than Kyron Williams. And I think the two of them combined, they're going to wear down defenses because they're small. They get behind their blockers. They're both patient runners. And I think they're tough enough to be able to carry the Rams throughout the stretch of this season.
Yeah, so we're playing the Lions this week. You probably saw this on your Twitter. Absolutely blew up. I tweeted, we all know Gibbs and Montgomery are Sonic and Knuckles, but Kyron and Corum are Tails and Shadow.
Wow, that blew up. How many likes?
3. Do you have a graphic guy? Do you have No? Oh, okay, all right. Graphic. Forgot that.
Yeah, you're ready for the Lions, right? One of the things, too, that I wanted to talk about in this one was we looked at the playoff picture, and I noticed that the Lions are right on the bubble coming off of a really nice win against the Cowboys where they put up 44 points. So the Lions are coming off of a win where they put up 44 points, allowed 30. The Rams are coming off a game where they scored 45 points, and allowed 17. So the Rams right now, I looked at it last night, they were -4.5. And now when you look at the spread as of today, they're -5.5. 44% of the money's on Detroit, 56% of the money's on LA. So the Lions are the 8th seed. The Panthers, we talked about, are the 9th seed at 7-6. And the Cowboys on the outside looking in at 6-1. But this Lions team is very clearly going to be starving. I'm surprised the game hasn't been flexed into primetime, but lo and behold, there's the Cowboys again in the primetime slot. So,
I thought it was Sunday night. It's not Sunday night.
And now it's 4:25.
Oh, bummer.
But it is America's game of the week, so I believe you're going to get Burkhardt and Brady.
No, Brady loves watching golf. I'm just going to do a little thing on the Lions here. It feels like the last 2 times we played them to start the season last year, and then the year before that, they bounced us in the playoffs. They beat us by 1 in that playoff loss, and then they beat us in overtime, and that was at their house. Mm-hmm. So you and I actually saw a Rams-Lions game in SoFi the 2021 season, and I remember one of our takeaways were, wow, Lions fans are so nice. Like they've been the trap shoot of the NFL for so long, but all these fans are so nice. And I don't remember if like the stadium was like half and half or whatnot, but I'd imagine with a game like this, because of the implications that the Lions have that they need this win, it probably will be about 50-50.
I would say, yeah, a lot of Lions fans are going to be trying to get to LA because, that, like you said, this is kind of the game where their season hangs on to, right? If they could figure out a way to get a win in LA and improve to 9-6, they still not only have a shot at the division, a long shot, but they're going to put themselves in a position where they could probably catch that number 2 seed in their own conference. Right. So whether that's the Bears or the Packers, but it's Goff versus Matthew Stafford. It's a big ticket. I would imagine, even if it is 50-50, it's just going to turn out to be one of those like really memorable, pivotal seasonal games.
It does feel like if we were to drop one here, that's the one that you drop.
Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like the game on a short week in Seattle coming off of Detroit is going to be tough. I would say that the Seahawks have the same disadvantage, but you got no freaking Daniel Jones now in Indianapolis.
I'm kind of okay with losing one of those 2 games. Maybe even, and like this might sound crazy, but hopefully things go our way and we still get the 1 seed. Maybe dropping week 16 against Seattle, because when you beat a team 2 times, the chances of you beating them a 3rd time in the playoff is really low. It just feels like it's really hard to get the best of a team 3 times in one season. But maybe we don't even see them in the playoffs. So does it matter?
I mean, there's a chance that you might. It seems like I remember back to that 2020 year where Wolford was supposed to start the game in Seattle, the wild card round, and Goff came in with his swollen thumb and ended up winning the game. Yeah, that was the year, Nick, where we had the number 1 defense, and you thought we could have went to the Super Bowl. And I don't disagree with any of that.
If Aaron Donald played that entire Green Bay Packers game, I think we win that game. And
I think so too. You had to go to Seattle, and then you had to go to Green Bay, right? That was a really tough. And I don't think
Jalen Ramsey. They can take their hats back to Cabo. They take their shirts to Cabo too.
I think that was the last year that the Seahawks won the division, and it's been Rams and Niners since. This Seahawks game, yeah, it's going to be insane. I do think that if you can continue to pressure Sam Darnold, he's going to turn back into Sam Darnold. But to only lose by 2 points and have 4 turnovers a few weeks back, it does feel like if you're going to drop one, it could be that one, and then you're still a 13-win football team.
I mean, they could be looking ahead, though. They could not be taking the Colts as like a real threat and be thinking of our game. And then, all of a sudden, I feel like they're due for a drop. Yeah, showing this again. Versus Panthers at Carolina, we all know that can be tricky. And then ending the year with San Fran. I mean, how funny would it be if the Rams fans are like rooting for the Niners to get the number 1 seed to beat the Seahawks? That could very much be in play.
There's a very, very real possibility. And if you get through these next 2 weeks, the Rams schedules.
There's a real possibility too. Why don't you flash that for me again? There's a real possibility too. No, sorry, the Seattle one, where San Francisco's like, we're in the playoffs no matter what. We're gonna sit guys just to F us over too. That is very, very much in play as well.
Yeah, and that's where it gets. That's where these kind of situations they get really fun, right? Where it's like a division rival could be helping you out, but they might have to do something that's not favorable to them.
or like they need that win, and like Detroit's right
Yeah,
there, San Fran. So it's, I mean, the Bears could be like on the outside looking in a couple weeks too, which is
for
the
sure.
craziest part.
Yeah, I do think they're a really good football team, though. Like
I
that was a tough loss last night.
I I I think that they can be a little magic. They kind of remind me of us in 2018, that first year when we got McVay, where it's like,
17.
oh, look at that, the Bears are making noise, and then they get to the playoffs and like all the hooks and ladders like kind of fall apart.
Yeah, they fumble a punt in the last second. Pharaoh Cooper. Yeah, we remember. Just going back to yesterday real quick too, because like one of the things that I wanted to call out, and I wanted to say thank you to Kelly Stafford because she hasn't been in the spotlight at all this season. Like the
Yeah.
podcast is not necessarily making noise. She's looks like she's just at games enjoying them with her kids. And it seems like it's like everything in terms of the Rams ecosystem. There's no negative stories about what Kelly Stafford is saying. There's no like conflict in the media. And coincidentally, Matthew Stafford is playing the best football he's ever played. So I don't know if that external noise being turned down is helping the situation, but like, thank you to Kelly Stafford for just, doing what she's doing and helping support her husband.
Here on Rams Bros the Pod, we respect women. But I will say, if there's a week for her to say something and make some noise, it's Detroit week. I feel like
Yeah, maybe she probably will.
she's always saying something when we're playing Detroit. Like, I can't believe those fans. I mean, like, I would be bitter too if your significant other is in that city forever, working their ass off like every year, and clearly he's been vindicated and has proven that he can be like a winning quarterback on a winning team, and that organization just could not put it together for him.
Yeah.
And then she turns around and these people are saying like, you suck, and like, get out of here. And she's like, we put so much of our love into this city. Like, you'd think there'd be camaraderie. That's how I like.
I'm sure. Well, that's probably a lot of the reason why she has attitude towards certain situations. But I'm just appreciative of the fact that she said she was going to be quiet this year. Demos said that they were going to be really good this year, and like these promises are holding up. Like it's really coming to life.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it does. Yeah, it like when we had Demoff. That's a really good point. When we had Demoff on the pod to start the season, he was very much like, we feel really confident in this team that they can go really far, and this is. I mean, when you have the Rams COO on your podcast, you'd imagine he'd say that every year. But I mean, I guess that was our first time having him on, and he was saying all this like amazing stuff about the Rams, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, like, what, you gonna say that they're bad?
Yeah, sure.
But
sure.
no, I mean, he was completely honest, and he's right too.
But he saw guys like Nate Landman, right? Like he saw them come into the building and try to earn his own and then eventually become a captain and have interceptions in big divisional games and eventually turn into an all-pro type player, right? Like he saw this fearsome foursome, the new version of it kind of come together under Tony Pastors and Les Snead. And he was the one that was kind of like overseeing all that kind of stuff. Like, this is our approach on paper to replace Aaron Donald. Here's how we're going to do it in every single level of our defense. And it's just super impressive to see it all come to life. You hear a lot of this outside noise talk about how good a team could potentially be. This is one of the best examples of like, hey, it was right in front of you. This team is supposed to be really good. Matthew Stafford is a future Hall of Famer. Now, if everything works the way it should and injuries stay aside, this team is going to be a Super Bowl contender as long as they want to be.
I mean, we knew that they were going to be good. I took them over 9.5 wins, and that cashed in the first week of December.
Cha-ching. Hey, yeah. Dean's locks yesterday cashed. Puka Nacua, Nick, first time in his career he's had 2 touchdowns.
That's crazy to us, right? I would have thought for sure that happened before. I guess he's not like the red zone guy. He's like the let me get huge chunk guy, like let me find me. I'll make an incredible catch only I can make.
So one of the things with Nacua, and I noticed this yesterday, he ran a really good like hitch and go down the sideline against Will Johnson. He gets a lot of critiques for him not being like the greatest route runner of all time. The Rams, quote unquote, manufacture separation for Puka Nacua is what I've heard, which is kind of odd. But the way that they used him, they've released him in the C gap. They brought him in motion. They let him play outside one-on-one against a top drafted cornerback. He's as good as it gets. I don't care what anybody says. He's a very refined route runner. His get off at the line of scrimmage is really strong. He's an incredible blocker. He's hard to take down. The yards after the catch are always there with Puka Nacua. He's one of my favorite players I've ever watched in my entire lifetime. He's that good.
I mean, how spoiled can you be to have Cooper Kupp right into Puka Nacua, you know, and then Aaron Donald right into like Fisk and Bursk and Kobe Turner. I think there's a real question now if Donald will come back. Do you think that that's on the table, or do you think it's completely done?
I don't know. He said something really interesting about
What
the
if they make
Bears.
it just to the Super Bowl and they're like, and he's like, I'll play in the Super Bowl.
I mean, I don't know how. Maybe there's a way. Maybe he comes back like the NFC Championship. I don't know, because then he's got. I don't know, but there might be a certain restriction to like when a player can come back. He's got it, like they got to activate him. And he's going to be on the roster for 21 days. I don't know how that works.
2 years ago, the Eagles brought back like a coach who's now their defensive coordinator. He was like the Dolphins special teams coordinator or something like that. He was like not a coach. And who's the Eagles defensive coordinator? Remind me. What's his name?
Right now, it's Vic Fangio.
Yeah, they brought in Fangio before they played the Chiefs that first time in the Super Bowl
as a consultant.
Yeah,
right.
Like
yeah, well, it's. I think
I remember thinking that was like, how are you allowed to do that? Like
the Rams have done that. Rams have done it a couple times. They did it with Mike Munchak for their offensive line. Dude from the Steelers. They brought him as a consultant. They do it and they like keep it behind closed doors. But I think that was the year Fangio was fired from Miami.
Yeah.
So he wasn't a part of any organization at that time.
Yeah, you're right. He was fired.
So yeah, no, but it's interesting because if Dad was saying when he was on, it's the Camelot phase. If you get Aaron Donald back and you win another Super Bowl with Aaron Donald on your roster, I might just retire my fandom. Like, I don't know if I ever need to see anything good from this organization ever again. It's that between 2021 and 25. If Aaron Donald comes back and points to his finger again and gets us another ring, my fandom is entirely fulfilled. Is that insane to say?
Yeah. So our cousin, who's an Eagles fan, texted our group chat and was like, you know, like I think I'm happy. I'm content as an Eagles fan for the next 3 years. You know, like they won. Like if they fall apart this year, whatever they won last year, I can hang my hat on that and be happy. And then you wrote back, yes, I completely agree, because it was after the 3-year mark when I fully committed back to the Rams winning another one, because
the idea of them, yeah. The last couple of years, it was like, you know, if they get there, they get there. If they make the playoffs, they make the playoffs. Awesome. They've been so banged up. But now you're back into like, man, it's kind of Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah, I just don't subscribe to you feeling that way. I know that the following year you'll be so ready to do a podcast.
No, I mean, you know how it is. I'm just saying that it would be one of the most fulfilling pictures that I could paint, and for that to come to life and like see that again, it would be
the closest this franchise has ever gotten to a dynasty.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, actually, I guess the Greatest Show on Turf did go twice, but they
went. Yeah, but you're right. Like if you go and win a second one in a 4-year span, that's closer to a dynasty than going to 2 and only winning 1.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, listen, the Eagles talked about a dynasty after they won a Super Bowl this past year, and it's gone to shit. So I don't want to talk dynasty.
Yeah, no.
I just want to talk. Maybe hypothetically, Aaron Donald comes back, this team wins a Super Bowl, and it's one of the greatest things that you could ever see as a fan of football.
Yeah, as a fan of the Rams, if you're a Niners fan, it's got to be one of the worst things you can say.
They saw enough good stuff for a lifetime. We appreciate you guys. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to like and subscribe. We love you always. Go Rams. Make sure to leave all your comments and thoughts below. Nick, anything before we sign off?
It's Lions week now, so next episode is going to be really fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. I love it. This is the fun time of year, Nick. I appreciate you. So much fun doing this with you. And as always, horns up, go Rams.
Go Rams. Thanks.